and Browns. I believe he can still improve. He understands he needs to become even better at throwing the football. He understands he needs to get rid of the football sometimes in the pocket and not always wait to try to get the home run down the field. He understands he can't take those hits, slide sooner, get out of bounds sooner. Skip, what does this even mean? A lot of his plays came when they had the lead or the floor of the game. Shouldn't that how your offense work? Your players should.
Yeah, the lead, yeah.
Everybody said Dak Prescott threw for almost 5,000 yards. I called him garbage yards because he was behind in the fourth quarter. Now you criticize Lamar Jackson for having a lead, giving his team a lead in the fourth quarter, for getting his yards, his touchdown throughout the flow of the game. Now that's a drawback. Every other quarterback that gets their yardage or touchdown in the flow of the game, that's unbelievable. He doesn't do anything outside of the game. Now you punish Lamar Jackson for that. This is so ridiculous. I just can't believe that people would actually sit back. People sit back and hope that the young man fails. If you want to critique his play, if you want to say he didn't play well, okay, so be it. I got no problem because you know I offer harsh critique analysis of any player, regardless of position. But, Skip, to sit back and hope, man, I sure hope they lose because this is going to be my opportunity. And it seems like this, oh, he's not going to be. Why not? Every quarterback improved. Did you say that when Peyton Manning lost? 41-0 to the Jets? I don't know what Peyton goes from here. 41-0. You didn't say that. Come on. Guy played 16 unbelievable games. Had an unbelievable season. And now, after one game, you're ready to write him off. You hope that he fades away. Well, I hope that he comes back even better than what he was last year. Because this is ridiculous.
Okay, just for the record, you were pretty hard on him yesterday.
Yes.
You said he deserves the bulk of the blame.
Yes.
And that he played by his MVP standards poorly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. This is just me, and I don't know what to read into those anonymous quotes. I don't think they want him to fail. I think they're just trying to be smart, you know, like to see the future because you don't have to put your name on it.
Right.
So you're saying, I'm cool. I'm going to tell you they're going to struggle because he can't come back. I got to tell you, and I fought you yesterday on this. I didn't think his numbers on Saturday night were garbage numbers or empty calorie kind of numbers. I think he can come back. And I know they don't want to throw 59 times, but it's off. Everybody's a little off kilter. Everybody's a little out of sync, a little out of rhythm.
Right.
And his first pass is to Mark Andrews, who maybe 3 weeks before he makes that catch, because it's just off his fingertips and it results in an interception, and it changes the whole flow of the game. Then he threw a bad pick, and then he lost, you detailed it yesterday, he lost a bad fumble because he lost Jarrell Casey behind him, and he just forgot, and he's going to try to make a play. And you're getting a little desperate because you didn't know you were going to get hit in the mouth like that.
Right.
They were playing an extremely physically and mentally tough football team that is a buzzsaw right now that was coming off a hot win up in Foxborough. And it was the wrong place and the wrong time for a Baltimore Ravens team that had an extraordinary regular season that ended 3 weeks before. They weren't ready for the onslaught. And the problem with trying to come back against that team, obviously, is number 22 plays for the other team.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just hard to come back on that because he's just going to punish you. You can't tackle him. He is the moose who runs like a deer.
Right.
And it's going to be so relentless that it's going to defeat you psychologically.
Right.
And so he's not getting a lot of help from his defense or his receivers.
And plus, Skip, that's not the Ravens' offense. Their offense isn't to drop back and throw it 60 times.
No, but
Kansas City can.
Okay, I know, but my point is, I was highly impressed with his growth as a passer this year. And I thought any other team, if they fell behind, what were the final score was 28-12. I forget what it was at some point, but could he come back on some other teams that would get up? Could they have come back on Cleveland? I know they lost 40-25. He could throw them back in a game, and I don't doubt he'll get better and better throwing the football.
But Skip, if you look at him last year when he lost to the Chargers, remember he went to LA and he beat the Chargers the first time around. So they get a second crack at him. Skip, I can see if it was like 4 or 5 games. But Skip, they got tape on you. They got 23 games worth of tape. So it's not like they're not, well, we don't know what he can do. He did that. He's going to win the MVP. He did that. How many, Skip, outlets, say in the last 20 years, we've seen a guy that just all of a sudden he win the MVP because what?
Sure. Yep.
Stop it.
I got it.
I'm not saying he's going to win 5 MVPs like Manning or 3 like Brady or even 2. But to try to discount him for what he did this season because of one game they lost, ain't nobody saying anything. I wonder if Tom Brady can bounce back.
Yep.
They thumped him in their building.
Boy, did they.
And nobody said anything. I wonder if Tom can bounce back.
Yeah.
But because of Lamar, because his style is a little unorthodox, Skip, they run more than they pass. He's not as proficient throwing the ball. Yeah, he's good, but he's not as good throwing the ball as he is with his legs. We understand that. But if he just can incrementally get better.
He will.
Skip, it's 2 years. That makes it seem like the
No,
dude's been in the league 12 years.
I got it. What he did with his legs on Saturday night was extraordinary. 20 times for 143 yards. And there was one play up the sideline when he made Adoree Jackson look silly.
Oh, yeah.
The stop and go.
Yeah.
He just stopped cold and went, and he
Right.
just, like, put him on his back.
Right.
Without even having to touch him.
Right.
Well, that's just, nobody else
Right.
can do that. You had the two best running backs in the game on the field at the same time. Right. One guy does it one way and one guy does it a whole, it's thunder and lightning, right?
The thing is, you look at Mahomes, okay, once they got the lead, they were still throwing. He got those yards in the flow of the game. That's their offense. Okay, well, Lamar Jackson, what they do is that they run. They force you to try to, okay, we got to commit more to the box and take away the run. They got tight ends that can run and get seams. Hollywood Brown can go over the top, and he picks you apart. That's kind of like what a quarterback does. When Brady can run the ball, what is working, Skip? Play action. Now he's throwing the ball down the field. But they try to minimize what this guy's been able to do. You have to evolve. You have to reinvent yourself year after year in the really good ones. Because Brady is not the same guy, Skip. He was not always a throw at the screen guy and dump it down to the back. They catching 50 or 60 balls. That's not what he was. He's evolved to that. Brady used to throw, when he had Moss,
Oh, man.
they threw the ball down the field. But you evolve, Skip. You reinvent yourself. Okay, you take that away. I find another way to beat you. And I believe Lamar can do that. But, I don't believe, man, they need to miss me with that. I think he's good enough. They got 16 games. Teams had 16 games to try to figure him out. They didn't. He lost. He didn't play particularly well. He picked the worst day to have his worst game in the playoffs. It just happened to Drew Brees the week before. He played his worst game, Skip, and he went home.
Yeah.
I know, but this kid only has two now.
Right.
And neither one of them have been anything to write home about.
Well, how many? What was Peyton Manning's record in his first three pro playoff games?
What did I used to say? You said nobody said anything about Peyton. I used to beat this desk for years back at the old show about Peyton Manning never lived up to his regular season in the postseason.
Right.
That he was the all-time greatest regular season quarterback who couldn't live up in the postseason.
Right.
Okay? And it didn't happen until he went to Denver and had a real defense and completely reinvented the way he was throwing the football, right?
Well, I mean, had that breakthrough season, I think, in 2006, because Eli won in 2007. And, they had to go through it took him, he had to go, because he couldn't get through Tom. In order for him to, finally, he had to go through Tom, Skip.
He did.
He had to.
No, he finally did.
And he finally did. And he went to Denver and he had to do it twice and he did it.
No, I got it. So even though I picked the Titans, I told you I was going to be deflated if we're going to lose Lamar from the tournament.
Right.
Because Fox has got the Super Bowl and I wanted to see Lamar in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So did this put a little bit of a damper on him winning the MVP? Yeah, it did. It just did. It kind of took a little...
Yeah, Skip, I don't really like to see the MVP. I kind of want to see him do it via remote from his hotel room. Because he's getting ready for the game.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But Skip, I mean, you got to go back. You got to go all the way back. The last Super Bowl MVP that won the Super Bowl, Matt Ryan, he didn't win.
No.
Tom Brady, he didn't win. So
it's kind of like the Heisman. You win the Heisman, although Joe Burrow just made them eat their words.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of times the Heisman winner will have a hard time in the postseason.
Well, because Skip, he has to